Philadelphia news, team of my heart.
The Philadelphia 76ers are broken, and everybody in this city knows it. After another brutal postseason exit that exposed every single crack in this roster, the front office is standing at a crossroads. They can either make bold moves this offseason, or they can watch another year of potential crumble under the weight of the same old problems. And right now, there is one problem that keeps showing up like a ghost in every single film session, every single loss, every single painful defensive breakdown. Philly cannot guard the perimeter. They simply cannot do it. And if they do not fix that this summer, nothing else matters. Not the offense, not the star power, nothing. So, today, we are going to talk about a player that almost nobody in the mainstream NBA conversation is talking about. A player who has been treated like an afterthought by two different franchises this season. A player who, quietly, fits exactly what the 76ers are missing like a key fits a lock. And by the end of this video, you are going to wonder why every other team in the league is sleeping on this guy. And more importantly, whether the Sixers are going to be the ones smart enough to wake up first. Let's set the stage. This past season, Philadelphia was ranked at the absolute bottom of the league in nearly every single three-point shooting metric. Think about that for a second. In today's NBA, where spacing is oxygen and three-point shooting is the lifeblood of every competitive offense, the Sixers were playing like they were allergic to the arc. And on the defensive end of the floor, they were getting carved up on the perimeter night after night. The guards they have right now are talented in their own right, but none of them are built to be that suffocating, assignment-specific, make-your-life-miserable type of defender that championship-caliber teams always seem to have. The role player that nobody puts on a poster, but every single team in a playoff series respects deeply. You know the type. The guy who shows up in Game 5, locks down the opposing star, and doesn't need a single touch on offense to change the entire energy of the building. The 76ers do not have that guy, but they could. Here is the fascinating part of this story. The player we are talking about today has had one of the most bizarre seasons in recent NBA memory. Not because of anything scandalous, not because of injury drama, but because of how his role has been handled by the teams he played for. He bounced between two franchises this season. Two franchises with very different situations, very different needs, and very different ideas about what to do with him. And because of all that instability, his market value heading into free agency is believed to be modest. That word, modest, should make every single Sixers fan lean forward in their chair right now. Because Philadelphia does not have a fat wallet this offseason. They are not going to be outbidding teams for superstar free agents. What they can do is be smart. What they can do is identify value where others see uncertainty and strike while the window is open. This player is a prototypical 3-and-D guard. And before you dismiss that label as just another generic role player description, let's talk about what that actually means in the context of what Philadelphia needs. A true 3-and-D player at this level does two things that sound simple but are extremely rare to find in the same body. He can knock down open threes at an elite clip without needing plays designed for him. And he can guard opposing perimeter players with the kind of physicality and anticipation that disrupts offensive rhythm from the opening tip. The Sixers already have enough ball-dominant, shot-creating talent. What they do not have is a player who thrives without the ball, who accepts his role without ego, and who makes the team better simply by being on the floor in crunch-time defensive possessions. That is exactly the profile we are talking about today.
And now, let's get to the number that should stop you cold. This player is a career 40.7% three-point shooter. 40.7. In a league where anything above 37% from deep is considered good, and anything above 40% is genuinely rare, this player has maintained elite efficiency from beyond the arc throughout his professional career. The Sixers, a team that finished near the dead last in three-point shooting as an organization this past season, should be salivating at that stat line. Imagine adding a player who can space the floor, catch and shoot in rhythm, and never needs the ball in his hands for more than 2 seconds to be effective. That is not a luxury for this roster, that is a necessity. Now, let's talk about what makes this situation even more compelling from Philly's perspective. The skeptics will say this player has limitations on offense. They will say he cannot create his own shot, that his ball handling in pick-and-roll situations is not impressive, that he is not going to rescue you in a late-game isolation. And those critics are not entirely wrong. But here's the thing. Nobody on the 76ers is asking him to do any of that. The ball is going to be in other hands. The offensive creativity is handled by other players on this roster. What the Sixers desperately need is someone who cleans up on the defensive glass after a miss, who communicates on rotations, who can switch on to different players without getting exposed, and who shoots it when it's his turn in the corner. That is the job description. And this player fills every single requirement of that description with room to spare. There is also a character element to this story that does not show up in a box score. Fans from different cities, and this is remarkable, fans who do not even cheer for the teams this player was on this season found themselves wondering about him, talking about him, asking questions about why he wasn't playing more minutes. That is not an accident. That is what happens when a player has real skill and real value, and the basketball-watching public, even from a distance, can feel it. The Sixers fan base is one of the most passionate and demanding in the entire NBA. They will embrace a player who plays hard, guards with effort, and gives everything on both ends of the floor. This player does all three. So the question now is simple. Are the 76ers paying attention? Are they watching the tape on this guy? Do they understand that the window to sign him at a reasonable price may not be open for long once other teams start doing the same math that we just did? Because here's the reality of the NBA offseason. Value like this does not sit on the market forever. The moment 2 or 3 teams start bidding on a player who shoots 40+% from 3 and brings elite perimeter defense, the price goes up. The Sixers need to be ahead of that curve. They need to be the ones making the call first, putting the offer on the table and locking this player into their rotation before anyone else wakes up. Philly has been late to the party too many times. Not this summer. Not with a need this clear and an opportunity this obvious. The Philadelphia 76ers have an opening right now, a golden chance, as narrow as it may be, to add the kind of player that does not transform a roster overnight, but makes every single game in April and May just a little bit more manageable, just a little bit more competitive, just a little bit harder for opposing coaches to game plan against. The missing piece is not glamorous. The missing piece does not need a max contract or a feature on the highlight reel. The missing piece just needs to show up, guard his man, and knock down shots when they come his way. And believe it or not, that missing piece is available this summer, if Philly has the vision to see it and the urgency to act. If you're a Sixers fan and this analysis opened your eyes to a move you hadn't considered before, drop a comment right now. Would you make this signing? Do you think the front office is watching? Hit that like button if you want Philadelphia to be smart this offseason, and subscribe so you never miss another Sixers breakdown like this one. Every single move this summer matters. The player we've been talking about this entire video is Keon Ellis, the 3-and-D guard who split time with the Sacramento Kings and the Cleveland Cavaliers this season, and who is now heading into free agency at exactly the right moment for the Philadelphia 76ers to make one of the smartest, low-cost signings of the entire offseason.